I do not. Oh, well, that's yo.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
And well, we gotta wait for yo to get set up.
yeah. Well, we live right now.
Oh, he go. There it is. We live.
What up, man? Can't hear you though.
Uh,
All right, so you should be ready to roll. All right, well, while we get this together, since we live now, um, welcome to HipHoPolitic.com. This is the Rap, a live roundtable every Thursday where we discuss the happenings in the world of hip hop, news, culture, whatever it may be. And you already know what the show is going to be about. So I don't even know why I have to say it, but we had a big week in hip hop, at least in my eyes, a big week. Um, First of all, I'd like to introduce my guest. I got DJ Scifi. You set up? Nah, we still can't. He getting set up, but we got DJ Sci-Fi, and we also got my man Ahk, hip hop enthusiast this week.
that's right. That's right, shorty. That's right. What up? What up? What's happening?
Uh, so if you've been in a hip hop hole somewhere, and or maybe you've been busy, um, it was kind of a big week for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, at least in my opinion. Wait, you good now? I thought I.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Loud and
Good.
clear.
Good.
All right.
But Big Sean put out a single that's not going to be on the album called Control, aka Hall of Fame, featuring Kendrick Lamar and none other than Jay Electronica. Um, and for me personally, hitting play on it was because I haven't heard anything from Jay Electronica in a while, so I was like, oh, word, Big Sean and Jay Electronica and Kendrick. But the Kendrick Lamar verse has basically erased whatever hip hop discovery anybody had because it started some controversy, some excitement, a ton of things, you know what I'm saying? And the gist of it is Kendrick Lamar. Well, let me say this first because a lot of this got lost up in people's reactions. The premise of the song is about Hall of Fame and being number one. And to be number one, you got to be better than your peers. And Kendrick Lamar created a verse where he really wasn't dissing, but he was going at most of his peers, most of the dudes he do songs with. And he was just, saying that it's his duty as a rap artist to destroy them. You know what I'm saying? And step up lyrically, you know what I'm saying, to be better than them. So he named Drake, Wale, Big Sean, Jay Electronica, everybody, Big Crit, everybody was on the song. He paid homage to Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, Andre 3000. Um, but to the hip hop world, social media on fire as a result of the name dropping. You know what I'm saying? So, Sci-Fi, we're gonna start with you, man.
Well,
What
I
was
mean,
your initial reaction?
my initial reaction to it was I was kind of like, it's about time that someone of mainstream had been saying the things I've been saying for a long time. I think hip hop, like the last 7 to 8 years, has been too buddy buddy. Like everybody wants
Yeah,
to be everybody's friend, and that's cool and all to get along. I like the camaraderie. However, you know, you wouldn't have a chronic if you didn't hear the low end theory. You get what I'm saying? It's like there are people trying to outdo one another. Now everybody
yeah,
sounds the same. They rap the same. There's no competitiveness. It's, oh, well, that's my man, so that's why people like it. And it kind of sounds like the same song
yeah.
nowadays. It kind of revolves back into a lot of the same issues.
It is the same song, sci-fi. Don't
Absolutely.
sugarcoat it.
Absolutely. But, it's just one of those things where when I first heard it, I was like, yes. And I was actually, I turned it off after him. I didn't even listen to the electronica. I was like, well, I don't really need to hear anything else. So
Yeah, I think that was. I think even if you didn't turn it off, mentally it was off.
Mm.
Because I know it was off for me. I couldn't even hear his verse after that.
yeah. So I mean, I have to go back and listen to it again to hear what he was saying on it. But
Mm.
even from Big Sean's verse, like it wasn't a bad verse. It was just kind of like Kendrick just did that much better.
Yeah,
It was almost like, all right, well, and I don't
yeah,
think I've ever seen that happen in hip hop where somebody kind of goes at the person whose track he's on. It's kind of like you were invited here, and now you're
yeah.
like, yo, couch. That kind of. So I loved it though. I love it.
So your initial reaction when you heard it like that. I know me and you talked it up way before you really got to it, but to actually hear it, what were your thoughts?
Man, I mean, I I didn't have the reaction that you all had, whereas though you was like, well, I ain't even whoever's next, I don't even care. Like I listened to the whole joint. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And just I thought Big Sean did good. I thought he was good. I was like, yo, okay, yo, try and get busy. All right, I see you, I hear you. But of course, when Kendrick came on, it was like, yo, you had just even the way he started it off. You had to
Mm.
pause. You had to stop for a minute. That it was like, okay, what's about to happen? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And then when it dropped, he pull you right in, and then the barrage start coming. It's like, uh-oh, you know what I mean? And then by the time because when he got the lines, but the dropping the bombs, like like it's almost like Farrakhan got to feel like Saddam in here, like
Yeah,
just the way he put it together and with the flex, like okay, I have something to say. You
yeah,
like them first couple bars, like I have something to say, and you're going to listen. So the whole King of New York and the juggle on one, juggle them both. Yo, that's just MCing. The timing is the
mm.
killer. The timing,
Yeah,
like you didn't see it coming, and
Absolutely.
just like with boxing, the joints that you don't see coming, those is the joints that put
yeah,
you on your ass. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, after Kendrick, I was delighted. I was happy. You know what I'm saying? I was enthusiastic. Like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And then even when Jay Electronica, even when he came on, I heard him out too. I was like, yo, all right. It wasn't Kendrick Lamar, but it was like he wasn't slacking neither, but it wasn't Exhibit C.
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Kendrick just gave you Exhibit Alphabet. Like, yo,
yeah,
just went in.
yeah.
So, my initial reaction, yo, I was excited, man, delighted, happy, all of that, man, all of that.
Yeah, I think I mean, to be honest, when a dude spazzes on a track to that degree, it doesn't even matter if he was dropping names. As a hip hop artist on the record, I automatically, well, actually, you should have came prepared regardless. You know what I'm saying? You should always have your A game, especially for the three dudes. Like we know Kendrick is hungry, but we know Jay Electronica might not be that hungry, but he cares enough to put a verse down. You
Mm-hmm.
know he's not worried about money at this point
Nah.
if you do your homework. But
Mm-hmm.
like I felt like Big Sean was doing the best he could, so I didn't think it was bad. But at the same time, of course the song's not on the album, man. They don't even belong to you anymore. His people were right by putting it out because I actually looked at his album on iTunes today. I didn't play, but I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before I wouldn't even look because just for a dude to put that out like that, you know what I'm saying? Now, one of the things you touched on, because we're gonna break it all down because we're not doing no other stories, no nothing.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Now the New York joint, the King of New York part. Now I watched a couple interviews with different artists, and this is before we get into all the responses, 'cause, there's that to talk about as well. But with the New York joint, Sci-Fi, do you think that was disrespectful? Not so much to the ASAP Rockies of the world, but to anybody rhyming out of New York, whether it be Kiss or Joel or shit, even Jay-Z to a certain extent. You know what I'm
Absolutely. You know,
saying?
that was one of the things, man. Like, I'm not actually from New York personally, but as
Mm,
an East Coast head, like I am, I'm from Philly originally, so it's like it's just about pride at a certain point, man. And
yeah.
part of me feels like New York really set themselves up for that
Mm.
Mm,
because like a long time New York hasn't been making New York music. I get the
yeah.
marketplace is what it is, but you still don't even have some of the core artists doing that. And yeah, it was a diss, and but I think it's kind of one of those things where I don't think it was meant to. Well, I'm hoping it wasn't meant to be totally outright disrespectful, but I just think it's just one of those things where what can you do, man? You got punched in the mouth, you know,
Yeah.
because you let your guard down, and now you mad because you should be mad, but it should never have gotten to that point in the first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like me being born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and especially coming from a time where you would dare say that with some of the MCs I grew up with, I didn't take it that much as a diss because as it relates to the younger generation of New York rappers, I totally agree. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find a young dude who you could say he's not going to let him get away with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you feel like it's a formidable foe for Kendrick out of New York that's going to, we like, all right, he's not going to get away with that. Like when Tupac was saying, when he was saying, we had Hov, we had Big, we had Nas. All I did when he did that, I was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
with this, it's like, well, he ain't lying, and especially,
Right.
especially because Kendrick has been on record for one showing love to NY, and actually, I don't know why he would have been surprised, but somewhat surprised by the love he was getting out of NY. You know what I'm saying? Especially Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Especially after shouting it out on the remix to "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe." So I always took it as, okay, well, him saying that, he's basically just echoing what dudes like me from NY say. Like, well, you're gonna stop rapping like the South because we know you're trying to make your bread, but at the same time, this is New York. This is the home.
Right.
We supposed to innovate. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to set the trends, not follow them. You know what I'm saying? But we know you from B more, but you're a hip hop enthusiast. So,
No
what do you
doubt.
think about that line? Do you think it was disrespectful? Do you think Kendrick was right? Do you think he really didn't care who from New York had an issue with that?
Nah, he had already, like you said, it was about the Hall of Fame. So he had already put the people in there who he felt as though, were kings or are the kings. The Jay-Z, Nas, as far as, straight up rapping, no
Yeah,
shenanigans involved, rapping and, doing their thing on charts, things of that nature. He had already gave props to them. I really think he was talking to the new generation. I don't think he was talking to Joel Ortiz or none of them. He was
hmm,
talking to, yo, I think it was to the fact that, yo, is you have nobody. And since I'm the one that's doing the traditional, since the ball is in my court, since I just did one of these. You understand? Since I just did this, you understand? And I'm staying on that path. I'm not playing. I'm not bluffing. I followed the traditional. I kept the fundamentals, but I did me. I kept it original, and I kept the fundamentals. I guess he's feeling like, yo, yes, I'm carrying this whole thing from the youth. I'm the new Nas. I'm the new Jay. I'm the new Biggie. I'm the new Pop. ASAP, you're not. Yeah, I like you as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? But you're not. Um, Joey Badass, I ain't even gonna mention you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking to you too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anybody on the radar, I got it. I'm that. And it would be, I won't say it'd be hard pressed, but it's like, yo, I'm challenging you. I want to see what you gonna do. What you
yeah.
gonna do about it? So, of of course, now I don't blame any of the NY rappers or fault any of the NY rappers for responding because, of course, like, yo, you know, it's spitters in NY. There's no doubt about that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But we talking about like an overall, like we talking about just repping the culture overall. Kendrick is saying, yo, he got it. He got it.
Yeah,
I got it in the palm of my hand. I'm putting in this work. Who trying to put in work with me?
yeah.
And yo, it's going to take a lot because I'm not letting up. I'm putting the pressure down, and this is how I feel about it. So,
I think the thing that kind of makes it toe the line is the fact that he, not only did he say this, but a New York rapper saying they're the king of the West, or a West Coast rapper saying they're the king of the South, you know, it would be taken as disrespect, you know what I'm saying? Or even Kendrick saying he's the king of the West might have some of the West Coast dudes saying, yeah, you are dope, but are they gonna let it slide? You know what I'm saying? Like, the game is cool with it because everything is over there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, them niggas. Oh, that coast, this coast. But if it was I'm the king of the West, now we know Kendrick is better
well,
than
he said juggle them both.
he. Yeah,
But
King of the coast.
he said that, but nobody heard that shit.
right,
Ah,
right, right. Nobody
See,
heard it.
King, yeah, and and let's be clear, King of New York is a Biggie thing because he started it. The source was really calling him that, and then everybody else just started calling him that, and then he kind of became that. So it's kind of something that's been passed on to him because I think him mentioning Jay-Z and Nas and all of them, I feel the same way. It's like no disrespect to them, but they're like the elders in the game. You know what I'm saying? They're the dudes you can't really disrespect, can't really go at them.
it's not even. Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I get that though. However, I
Mhm.
just think it's I get it. I don't think he hates. It's not like a East Coast West Coast beef. It's not like what it
Mhm.
was back then. I think he is calling people out because largely of what we said earlier about it's not really been that pressure coming from New York where they've been doing
Yeah.
it. But I think what's most impressive about it is really the fact that he is a mainstream artist. You
Yeah.
know, he was able to. He has mainstream backing. He has Dr. Dre and Interscope behind him. So he
Mhm.
has all that machine behind him. But he also maintained, his artistic integrity with this album. Still had
Yeah.
singles. So he had all these different things. So it's kind of like exactly. It's like one of those things where you can't really argue it too much, only because on one hand people would say, well, he is making money, he is selling records, and
Yeah.
he is lyrical. So it's kind of like who's really going to argue with him? But I like
Yeah.
the responses though. I like the fact that people aren't laying down to it. I think that should be that way.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing I want to get into next, right? The
Hmm.
responses. Now, nobody who was named has really responded in rhyme form. We had, I mean, I think I even track some of these joints because out of my disgust as an MC and a hip hop fan, you know, like Meek Mill saying, you know, you can run that backpack, I'm gonna run the streets. I'm disappointed in you, Meek. Really? Like that's
You don't
really
want it, man.
exactly. That's a nice way of saying I really don't want it like that. Um, I just want to, well, then go see Styles because you know what, that's where he likes to go. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
you have dudes like who else, man? Like Drake said he was cool with it. Um, then you have Jay Electronica saying it's good for hip hop, and I totally agree with the whole sentiment of dudes kind of not turning it into a beef. You know what I'm saying? I love that part about it, but I felt like Joel Ortiz, I knew he was going to be the first one to respond because that's what he does, man. If a
Absolutely.
record's really hot, he's going to put a freestyle on or something, and he's from New York. You know what I'm saying? He's from Brooklyn. All he's been saying since he came in the game is that he can't do this to the point where he about to wear fronts and bring that back. So this is right up his alley, and plus his response was perfect. It was decent. It was going at him, wasn't going too far. It was standing your ground. But that's the thing. Unfortunately, these aren't the rappers who need to respond for
Agreed.
Kendrick's goal to be achieved of up in the ante. The dudes, the fans basically, who he's trying to bring up, because like he don't have to bring us up. We looking for lyrics anyway. But
Right.
the fans he's trying to raise up are the fans of the Meek and the Wale and the Drake and him and all of that who are not really concerned with lyrics, and he's trying to raise the bar so they can come up with him. But the thing is none of them want to step in the ring. We got Fred the Godson. We got Lupe Fiasco. Who else, man? We got Myson, Ransom, Static Selector, and Astro. Who's that?
Right.
Like, yo, we got. I'm about to write a response. Like, we got everybody responding except for the dudes who were named. Now, I don't know if it's because they can't or they're waiting for the perfect way to respond. But man, you listen to probably all of them shits more than I did. So, what do you think about the responses, man? Is this already old?
Yeah, people are making it old. They making it old, but to a degree, I could understand because these guys are MCs, they're rappers, and this is the way that's the way that they speak. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? See, like we media, we in media, we hold forums. This is part of what we do. You know what I'm saying? But as far as rappers, they don't sit and hold forums, and they don't do that. They rap. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's what they do. So to express how they feel about it, they rap. Now, what's interesting though, I ain't seen no response from the West Coast.
duh,
It's all
yeah,
been over here.
yeah.
Yeah.
King,
It's all been over here.
King of New York,
You know
my
what I mean?
man, you can't get away with that.
Cassidy from Philly.
Yep.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
But
P.O.B. is from Atlanta.
hmm
Well, we
Lupe
not.
from
Come on, man. We
Chicago.
ain't even B.O.B.
He's-
Man. We ain't talking about that. Man.
okay.
I
But yeah,
mean,
like I can understand with the Cassidy joint. I think Cassidy, he's a battle MC. So
That's
this
what he
dude gonna
do.
say he better than everybody. He's gonna come
You ain't,
out regardless.
right. You ain't better than
yeah,
me. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I mean, it's interesting though, man. Like, I'm actually happy that it's been the people not named in there because it's
Mm.
kind of giving people who don't know these guys a a chance to hear them. Like there's still people out there, believe it or not, that don't know Joel Ortiz. You
Mm.
Mhm.
know, They know B.O.B. though. Someone put that up real fast. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But Joel Ortiz clearly had the best response I've heard so far. I mean, the Lupe was cool too, but you know, I like what it's doing. Of course, those guys named in the record really aren't going to do it. One, they weren't brought into the game as battle rappers. You know,
Yeah.
the culture has changed a lot. I mean, believe it or not, a lot of the young dudes got sour with 50 Cent because he was a bully.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't the fact that he didn't make good music or not. They just didn't like him because they felt he was a bully. And they don't like that kind of attitude. So this whole battle thing is a little abrasive for them. So, you know, so those Meek Mills he didn't even want nothing with Cassidy. It took him a minute to finally try and respond to something, and that was whack. But
yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is, the culture must be shifting because I think the streets are looking for it though. Now I can't generalize, right? But I just give you an example because like I've said before on here, I got my little iPod hustle going on. You know what I mean? So it's a young brother that always come through. You know what I mean? My man, he from the streets. Be doing his thing or whatever. He come through. He want all the latest joints on his iPod. Like, yo, what's new? What's up? He want the little Boosies. He want the Jeezys. He want all that. So he came through today and gave me the iPod. And he was like, yo, any old Boosie, give me any old Boosie. I'm like, okay, all right. He like, do Meek got anything new out? I'm like, nah, Meek ain't got nothing new. Like, he said he's still working on his stuff. He like, oh, okay. He like, yo, what's up with that Kendrick Lamar though, yo? Like, yo, what's up with that? Like, yo, went at everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, to put together. So I think, you know what I mean, he's looking for, yo, well, where that new Meek? Like, Meek ain't got nothing. No, Meek don't got nothing. He has nothing.
Right. Exactly.
He don't have nothing.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so he's like, well, yo, put that Kendrick on there too. Yeah, all of that. You know what I mean? So I think the people are looking for it. And yeah, Meek don't have nothing now. And maybe some of these MCs that he called out, they don't have nothing now. We may be hearing some darts later in the future. They may be biding their time. Just like, what's my man? Pusha T. You know what I mean? He tweeted, I hear you loud and clear. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I think he'll go there. I think he will go there.
Right. So, but I like I said when we first kicked it off, man, I'm just enjoying it, man. Like, yeah, that's what it is, man. Good.
Yeah, I think my only apprehension with this whole thing, because I was telling you, Monday I was highly excited. Before I think Joel Ortiz was the only one with a response, so I was feeling like, yo, this is gonna start something. But I think the quality of the dudes responding is starting to bring it down. It's starting to bring the bar back down, because the only reason why it was a big deal is because Kendrick is a mainstream dude. And if the mainstream dudes don't respond in the same manner, it's dead in a week. You know what I'm saying? If they may hear Fred the Godson for the first time, they may not like him. You know what I'm saying? And you know how easy it is for people nowadays to really not give someone a chance, even in this case where they're searching for stuff. So they might be like, who's that? He didn't even mention his name, but who is this dude? Who's that dude?
It could very well do what Kendrick, it could very well do what Kendrick is saying he's going to do. It's going to make these people, I don't want to hear another now or verb, none of them. Like, yo, you was weak, you was alright, oh yeah, I like him. You know what I'm saying? But like them ones that came weak, that might dead them. Like, oh, that's that did the phony. Oh, no, he phony, yo.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it is predicated on trends. So it's kind of like, okay, he raised the bar, and if people aren't meeting it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think people expect Cassidy to meet it. That's why his response was like, I had to hit play on it because I'm like, oh, he's saying something. I
Yeah.
know it's gonna be good. But like, or let me just throw this in there real quick. Wale said he's the best rapper on the planet. All right, let's move back.
Well,
Prove it,
right.
nigga. Come on,
That's
man.
that's what it's about now. Yo,
Yeah,
we
But
can
it's
make these claims. Go ahead. Go
oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, finish.
No, I was gonna say, yo, we can make these claims, but Kendrick is saying, yo, listen here, man. I got one of these, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call you out. And it's almost like, yo, because you know what I'm thinking now? Who's gonna be the first to do a feature with yo now?
Well,
yeah.
What is that gonna be like after this? Like,
it'll
what you
be
think,
fun.
Sci-Fi?
It'll
You
be
said,
fun. They're gonna do the feature like it's buddy buddy, like it didn't even happen. But what I'm looking to see, like even if they don't respond now, like
mm,
on a track or a new track coming out, I'd like to see how that pushes the next couple albums that people release.
that's
Are you really going to step your game up? Like
Yeah.
this guy gave you an album that no filler. Even the radio friendly songs that are on there are dope. So can you do that? Can you match it?
that's right.
You
Let's
know?
match it. Let's
So
match
that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing. So, you know,
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think and this kind of leads into to and we kind of touched on it anyway, but kind of leads into the next thing I was thinking about with the verse and its impact is and the responses. And we talked about this, but the fact that Kendrick Lamar has the material to back it up, not only Good Kid, Mad City, but if you go back and hear Section 80,
absolutely.
that was already a classic. It was just a classic that radio didn't really know because they didn't really play it. You know what I'm saying? His mixtapes, he got some joints on it. That's crazy. Some freestyles. That's crazy. Yeah, I see websites posting his freestyle from 2010 as if it's new. You know what I'm saying? Because he was doing the same thing back then. But that's what I mean. Like I feel like Good Kid, Mad City already did that. Like I felt like Wale's album was a little stronger than it was in the past, at least lyrically, and content wise. J. Cole's album definitely was way stronger this time around, and he admitted to that. And I was kind of getting a vibe of Drake also, but I think Kendrick got the vibe and was like, you know what? No, I put it right here, but now you got to come up here because like I said before, I feel sorry for Drake. He ain't put his out yet. So now, if you just say, "Oh, I'm cool with it," and then you go start singing,
Mm.
all is lost, man. And all the excitement, like Martin said, all your dreams down the drain. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I got excited for nothing because all he gonna do is just say, "Ladies, Drake got a new album out," and it's gonna sell through the roof. Radio gonna get back on it. 2 Chainz gonna come out of hiding. Rick Ross coming out of hiding. Trinity, all of them coming out of hiding because they're like, "Oh, the coast is clear. Lyrics is over. Now let's do this." And I mean, I think that's the number one thing is Kendrick went that hard because he could.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I only have this material, and yes, I'm definitely gonna have to back it up in the future. But for what I have right now, I could say that, and people are gonna be like, "Well, yeah, them other niggas all whack." So
But he could have done it without a platinum record, man.
yeah,
With the
Wow.
impact that it has, if
yeah,
he had not if he had been where Rick Ross and Meek Mills was sales wise, it
hmm
wouldn't have had the impact. Yeah, they've been,
yeah,
oh yeah, who is this guy talking? But because he did have like a number one album this year,
hmm
he's in that ballpark with Jay-Z right now, in terms of sales that is.
yeah,
He can say it. Like you said, he has the material. And everybody's gonna be looking to see what he does next. But I mean, right now he's 2-0. He bodied Jay on his own
yeah,
remix, and then he bodied Sean and Jay Electronica and everybody else in the industry for that matter.
yeah,
Well, young dudes anyway on this new song. So hey,
yeah. Well, the other thing I want to look at in regards to this song, and probably the most important, and we've kind of been alluding to it, is this going to do anything? Because I see a lot of people who love it, who are happy for it, who've been waiting for it, but then like with the responses, I see more of a trend of people trying to capitalize off of the spotlight. Like, sure, some of them are skilled MCs, but at the same time, they see it as an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's no different if a beat catches fire, and then you have a ton of dudes freestyling over it. They're not really freestyling over it because they think they could be the best on it. They just trying to be a part of that trend, like, oh, boom, you heard that? Did you hear my verse over this? And is it gonna do anything? Because I think about the fact that the people who are mentioned in the song aren't really responding the way everybody was pumped up to see and hear, at least not yet. And then, I mean, even stuff with the King of New York line. What about Papoose? Like, he's from Brooklyn. Uh, Kendrick Lamar brought him out on stage, and Hot 97 didn't know. So, like, and Papoose, I put Papoose in the same category as Cassidy. They kind of like, if you're going to talk about spitting, they think they the greatest in the world. So, what about that? Or Action Bronson being cool with them, and like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're quiet, and maybe we can understand why. But then you have all these other guys, and you could easily categorize it as these are dudes who just want some shine, and then you have all the dudes who have the shine who were mentioned, just like, I don't know. Now I will give a pass to Jermaine. I still feel like he caught it the worst out of it, because it was like, damn, I thought that was your closest friend right there, but whatever. But Sci-Fi, do you think that this is going to, if not change hip hop within a week or a month or even this year, is it going to make these artists step up their lyrical level, or are they going to wait for the trend to die down and then get back to business as usual?
Well, I think for some, it's not going to matter. Like you have your Meek
Mm-hmm.
Mills, people like that aren't going to do anything. They're just going to continue to make the music that they make and say, hey, you know what? It's not affecting my paper. Y'all still love it. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
real. All that other stuff. But then I'm hoping, I'm actually hopeful that Drake might actually go in and rewrite some songs or put something else on that album that's coming out
Yeah.
soon. Because lyrically he can in fact he can get busy if he
He can
wanted
get
to.
busy. He can get
Yeah.
busy.
So like I would like to see people like that, at least step to the challenge. It's not even about dissing, but like, come on, y'all. Like I want to hear another Low End Theory and a Chronic. I want to
Mm-hmm.
hear an album that's creative, and
Yeah.
it's being pushed by your peers, whether you are friends or not. I want to see that. So I'm hoping that it works that way. I do think overall the culture of hip hop is shifting anyway. I think that it was just kind of dynamic that Kendrick Lamar, a mainstream artist, put it out there like that. But slowly
Mm-hmm.
but surely, you have people like Joey Badass is starting to get some momentum. Momentum, excuse me, and the other artists coming up behind him that are doing
Mm-hmm.
that. So I think eventually it's going to get to that point where you have lyricism. I mean, it's probably not going to be like the '90s. I doubt that we'll see that again. But you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have from what I hope, a healthy mixture of the two, which it should be that way anyway.
Yeah. Well, Ak, I want to ask you the same thing, but do you think the onus is on the fans to
Yeah.
demand this in some way, shape, or form? Because if we leave it in the hands of those artists, as you can see, they're taking a sweet time with responding, and throwing us bones in here. But if we leave it in the hands of them, they're going to take it wherever they want it to go. And Kendrick Lamar's whole push and vibe, like, should the fans get behind Kendrick and not really, not say, end these dudes' career by not supporting them, but demand more from these
Equality.
artists?
Yeah. Yo. You read my mind, because that's exactly what I was gonna say, yo. It's on the fans, Jack. It's on the
Mm-hmm.
fans, yo. Like, the fans gotta demand quality, yo. Like, and quality, I guess that's a slippery slope because everybody's got their own, what they consider quality, and you know what I mean. So, but the interesting thing is, I had this conversation. Well, I had a conversation with my goddaughter about hip hop. She just turned 16. She's 15. Well, she just turned 16, but I had this conversation with her when she was 15, a few months ago, beginning of the year, and just talking about hip hop. And she just casually says, "Well, everybody know the best rappers are Kendrick and Drake. I mean, everybody knows that. You know what I mean?" So this is coming from somebody that's 15. So I'm happy that she's saying this. Like, okay, Kendrick and Drake. Now I know why she says Drake.
Yeah.
Everybody knows why
Right.
she's saying Drake. Drake ain't no slouch,
Hmm.
but we know it wasn't strictly off of the rapping. Whereas though
Yeah.
with Kendrick, he rapped to get that spot, yo. He rapped. He rapped. He don't have a song where he just straight sing on the entire song and says, "Yo, this is my single." He didn't do that. He rapped.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So this generation, that younger generation, the 16s and 17s and late teens, early 20s, I think that they know these things. Now it's on them to demand it and say, "Well, yo, that's garbage, yo. That ain't even." Now it's pretty much on, because guess what? We're gonna do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
People our age, we already know. Like, yo, I'm not getting that. I'm not
Right.
even clicking on that. Actually, that almost happened with me in this damn Control song. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I'm sorry, Big Sean. You know what I mean? And Kendrick, yo, he's my man. You know what I mean? And Jay Electronica, I like him too. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I thought it was just another one of those cliche, "This is my hip hop track." So
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna click on it. But boom, you call me early in the morning, like, "Ah, you ain't hearing this shit." Like, "Yo, what is you doing?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the thing is, if the fans demand and want more of that, then I think we'll get those artists that'll try to step up to the plate and do that. But if they don't demand it, man, they don't want it, then yeah, it'll just go by the wayside for them, not for
Yeah.
me. Because
Right.
I'm going to make my purchase. I know what I'm purchasing.
Right.
Me. You know what I'm saying? But, so it's on them, yo. It really, truly is, yo. Like, to demand that, yo, we want artists that want the best, that want to provide us the best that they can.
Yeah, and one thing I definitely want to say about Kendrick, and especially with him being looked at as a mainstream artist, it wasn't always like that. Like when Section 80 was out, it wasn't like Drake's mixtape, where Drake's mixtape was all over the radio before he even got to his debut album.
Hmm.
And even with Kendrick's debut album,
That wasn't all over.
his skill and his craft and the props he was getting from fans and DJs and everybody in the hip hop world forced radio to pay attention to him. You know what I'm saying? And kind of ushered in his sales, really. You know what I'm saying? It really was an old fashioned way of blowing up. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure a record label was behind it and stuff like that. But swimming pools wasn't killing the radio like that.
No.
It was there as their duty to throw it in a rotation, but there was plenty of other songs that was getting way more spins. And it was like once the album dropped and the street buzz and the reviews everywhere, then it forces media, especially hip hop media, to deal with it, to say, for especially like for those older DJs who really hate most of this shit but pretend they don't because they got to keep their job. It was a happy moment for them to say, yeah, Kendrick Lamar, you know what I'm saying? He got this, he got that. Oh, he got a remix with Jay-Z. And Kendrick is capitalizing off of that. Oh, okay, my buzz is coming down a little bit. You know, J. Cole, he dropped the album while they boom. You know what I'm saying? And then now it's like, it's not even his song. He's been on record saying he hasn't even been working on his second album. So, you know, I feel like the sales of his album is going to go up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people, and I know I said that would be the last, but I definitely got to touch on this because I just did a one to flow on it. But there are people from mostly the 90s era, but probably 95 back, who, you know, some of them, this is what they've been waiting for. Some of them love him, you know what I'm saying? Because they hear it there, you know what I'm saying? They hear it they hear everything they've wanted out of hip hop today in him. Now, and this is the last thing we're going to discuss on this before we kill it forever. But we got to talk about my generation, your generation, the 90s dudes. Not all of them. Because some of them, like us, you know, we can hear the skill and the craft in the new school stuff. But there's a certain breed of units who y'all just can't give it props because it's new, man. Y'all arguing points that's not even what it's about. You know what I'm saying? They're like, he's trying to raise the bar in hip hop. Today, in 2013, they comparing it to hip hop in 95, 93, 88. Oh, he ain't better than Kane Raw when he came out. That wasn't better than when Kumo D came at Busy B. You know what I'm saying? That ain't better than when KRS-One went at MC Shannon. Like, and I think they kind of missed the point of Kendrick doing this. Kendrick was doing what you complain about. You know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, because for example, and this is the major example. I have a dude who looks at it like, well, you know, he didn't mention Kiss. You know, he didn't mention Styles. Nobody ever goes at the Locks, or, you know, like, you know, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he didn't come this way. It's not the greatest verse I ever heard. It's not really hip hop. All the dudes he mentioned are weak. Yeah, like all of the dudes he mentioned are weak. So it's easy for him to sound like the best thing ever. And I like to use the basketball analogy because I argue about that all the time because I'm a big LeBron fan. Michael Jordan never says he's better than Bill Russell or any of them dudes because he never played against them.
Right.
So you can't say a prime Kendrick is better than a prime Nas or a prime Jay-Z. We don't know because we never know. You know what I'm saying? They in two different lanes or whatever. So Sci-Fi, I mean, do they have a point? Like, should we, you know, lower our hype a little bit, or do we have reason to be happy to at least hear this for the moment?
Well, I don't think those guys that complain, that are saying, oh, it's not better than this or better than that, really have anything to stand on. Like, actually, I hear that a lot, just about everything, you know, this generation, you know, and, you know, I get it. There's a lot of garbage, but there's a lot of garbage nowadays, too. People don't ever talk about that. They think that everything that came out in the 80s and 90s was hot.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, son. There's mad tapes I just threw away.
Yeah.
So this is what I say to that. They have to consider who Kendrick Lamar is speaking to. He's not speaking to you. You know, like, our generation is really, you know, like, if you're into hip-hop at this age, you're going to know about a Kendrick Lamar. But most people are, you know what, if it don't come on the radio like that, I really don't care. So he's not speaking to our generation specifically. He's speaking to the people his age and younger. You know, because they're the ones that listen to a Meek Mills and a J. Cole and a Drake and all these other guys. They're listening to them. They're looking at these guys as the latest and greatest. So why would he bring up Kane? Why would he bring up Kiss? You know, why would he bring up Wu? Like, those dudes are old school to them.
Yeah.
It's like they're not even relevant at this point. And it's not to say that they're not relevant, but, you know, in terms of hip-hop altogether, I'm just saying that right now to the audience that he's speaking to, you know, and it doesn't have to be the greatest verse. I think what he said, though, was pretty dynamic because you never really heard a mainstream artist kind of just call people out like that. I mean, Tupac, but that was a little different. That was really beef. You know, he really felt some kind of way. Like, this isn't like that. This is more or less like, hey, you know what? In the spirit of competitiveness, it's like, you know, Kobe Bryant just saw something on ESPN saying that they think the Lakers going to finish 12th in the West. And he tweeted out, 12th, I see. You know what that means. He's going to hurry up, get back in the gym, and try to lead the league in scoring again. And you know he will. He's capable of doing it. You know, it's not a diss to LeBron or anything else. He's like, all right, that's what it's about. I'm going to go ahead and show you. So those guys just need to be quiet, man. That's my opinion. We had our time, man, and it's not to say that we can't go back and listen to that stuff. And there's people still out, believe it or not, there's still heads out doing that music now. But it's not really to talk about 88. These dudes weren't even alive. If they were like babies.
Yeah.
You know?
Good Kid, Mad City.
Exactly. So, nah. But
so, what's your take on the some of the older generation's reaction to this and not acknowledging what Kendrick is doing for this generation?
I don't know, man. I think they should just chuck it up, yo. Just stop listening to hip hop, yo.
Yeah.
Just leave, yo. Exit stage. What is it? Left stage, right? Whatever, yo. Get out, yo. Leave, yo. I'm serious, yo, because that don't make sense, yo. How you gonna, come on, yo, how you gonna expect, yo, to try to get with, yo, that's just, no, man. No, man. Like, we didn't expect that with Nas and KRS-One. People were saying when Ether dropped, yo, that ain't better. Yo, I don't recall people saying that. If they was not around me with that nonsense. Like, come on, yo. Like, this is, like I said, like I mentioned before, with my goddaughter, prime example. Yo, she's the one that's 16 right now. Kendrick is her Eminem or her Nas or whatever. That's what it is. J. Cole is her Nas. Drake is her Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. Right now, it's nothing nobody can do about it. That's what it is. Now, Jay, you know what I'm saying? He still got the passion for it. He still do what he do. You know, but that's how the youth look at him. Like, oh, that's Jay. We already know he got it.
Right.
They look at him like that automatic. But when it's somebody of their peers, somebody that's coming from them, you know what I mean? It's different, and that's exactly what it should be. The torch needs to be rotating, man. And for a minute, it was looking crazy, like it wasn't going to rotate, like that was going to be it. You know what I mean? So people should be happy that it's continuing. I don't understand why anybody could be mad, man. That's just, like I said, you need to just leave then. Just keep it funky. Like, yo, you know what? All I listen to is old school. That's it. Anything from 80, anything from 78 up to like 95, that's all I do. If you did that, then you know what I'm saying? Even my lady, she was getting on it like that. Like, yo, I don't listen to none of these new dudes. All I listen to is that old school. That's what it is. That's that. And I'm like, yo, all right, whatever. But then when I'm, you know, riding in the car and bumping some new exclusives, what's that? Like, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? That's new. But nah, yo, seriously, yo, them older dudes, yo, Nah, yo, y'all need to leave then, yo. Just leave, man.
I'll say this to just to toss them a bone. Uh, Rapper 2 Chainz says that he raps the way Kobe plays ball. I'm assuming that means hurt because that's how I feel. And then come on, Roger Rabbit, get the fuck out of here, man. We saw the video. Come on, man. Just like I Kendrick, please.
Can
But
also throw a little
what's
point
up?
in there on the
Yeah.
old school heads real quick.
Mm,
They didn't say that when Rakim came out in '86. Mind you, you had your Melly Mel's and stuff like that that were the top of the food chain at that time. Curtis Blow, Run DMC, and when Rakim and KRS One kind of came in the game, there was there was none of that. Oh, because that was different. It was a new generation coming in, you know, and it's like we see this all the time. What people have to understand is that hip hop isn't, you know, a young genre no more. It's not like, all right, well, just 15, 20 years ago, it just started. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So you have to understand that it's always going to be moving forward that way. Like you said, your goddaughter is looking at J. Cole as the new Nas, you know, or the new Rakim or what, you know, however you want to call it.
Right.
That's who they're looking up to. That when they're going to the high school parties, that's what they're playing. They're
Yeah.
not playing Paid in Full, you
Yeah.
know. So
Good.
yeah,
Breeze Louise.
Now I will say this. Back in my Brooklyn barbershop days, was some '80s cats in there who was like EP and D ain't better than Run DMC,
exactly.
or Kane ain't better than Curtis Blow, my nigga. So they were doing the same thing, but I think the '90s dudes are more passionate about it because that era, lyrically, hip hop took a huge leap lyrically. You know what I'm saying? Like in New York and rap period. You know what I'm saying? It took a huge leap in New York once again at the time set a ton of trends. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what dudes don't want to let go. Because I know for me, I mean, I throw the Chronic in here and there, and I'll listen to Illmatic and Ready to Die and Reasonable Doubt. Like it's almost like a quota that I have to fill every year to listen to some of these joints, regardless of how I feel about what's new. But some of these dudes, if it isn't emulating that,
Mm.
they don't want to hear it,
Mhm.
and they don't care what you say or whatever because you aren't this person. Just like with LeBron, it doesn't matter that he doesn't get into trouble off the court. He's about to marry his baby moms from when he grew up. Not no model he met. Not no PR person. Like he's a good dude. He's excellent at ball. Now he has 2 championships, and dudes don't want to give it up because he's not as competitive as Michael Jordan was, and that's the thing. If it doesn't sound like what I idolized when I grew up, then it must be whack. And like you said, this is what the generation idolizes, and I'm glad that they idolize something like Kendrick. I'm glad he's forcing that back on hip hop. It's just up to the other dudes who have the spotlight, because it's going to take all of them in order for it to change. You know what I'm saying? It's up to all of them to change it and say, okay, we can still get our money, but we got to agree to raise the lyrical level just a little bit higher. We can still do radio joints, but just raise it a little bit, a la Jay-Z and Biggie. They could do the party and the radio, and they can also maintain the lyricism at the same time. And dudes didn't like it back then, but it didn't matter because it was satisfying both. So, I mean, it was a nice week for hip hop. I mean, I hope it lasts. I mean, we don't know what the future holds. Fabulous is still waiting for a studio to open, I guess. Because goddamn, nigga, it's almost Monday again. Just get out. Like I said, get out. But now I wanna thank my guest Sci-Fi for coming through. Hit him up with your Twitter handle.
Yeah, it's at sci-fi_3. So
Mm.
hit me up
And
there.
hip
Yeah.
hop enthusiast.
Yeah, I
You
think
know
the
what I'm
joint
saying?
is backwards now. I ain't sure it's showing up backwards on my joint, but yo, man, yeah, man. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching, and get with y'all next week. Thank you, Vegas. Thank you, Sci-Fi, for having me.
Thanks, Ak. Thanks,
No
Vegas.
problem, man. And every week we're here for the rap weekly discussion about hip hop. I promise next week we will not talk about this unless Biggie and Pop come out with a response. Then we gotta talk about this shit. Fuck
We
you
gotta
talking
talk about it then.
about? You know what I'm saying? But every Thursday at 9 p.m. right here on HipHoPolitic.com. Not that other one where they wear suits and stuff, which is dope. But this one, you know what I'm saying? HipHoPolitic.com. You can follow me on Twitter at VegasWorldINC. On behalf of my man Ahk, DJ Sci-Fi, and whatever guests we have in the future, peace.
Peace.